Okay, Mr. Bruce.
Yeah, what's going on?
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, welcome.
Mr. Bruce. So we're here in White Springs.
Right.
And tell us where you're from, where you came from, and when you bought this house.
I'm a Brit, been in Florida for about 38 years, down in the south end of the state. Came up here on February 2nd last year, bought this house after being in the Florida Folk Festival. Loved it, fell in love with the town, and here I am.
So just for those of you that are fans of LDL Paranormal, this is the house across the street from the very first house that we ever did. So presumably if it was built in 1905, they may have seen what was going on over there.
This is true. Yeah, this is one of 4 houses on this block, built by Dr. Kendrick. His house is at the end of this block. It's now the bed and breakfast. And then there's 2 cottages next to me here, single story. This is a double story house, which is built as a tenant house. So originally, no porch at the front, it was a 2 down, 2 up house. Central fireplace that you see over here. And
so the owners didn't live in it, was strictly for
that's
rental?
Correct, yeah, it was purely exactly. If we do end up hearing anybody in this house, I do have a fair idea who's lived here. Again,
tell us about that.
It was a tenant house. So jumping forward to when it was built, 1905, by that time the town was just going ape. You know, lots of big hotels. They hadn't had the big fire, which happened in 1911. But right before that fire, there is a story connected to this house, so which I can vouch for in 2 historical things I've read about it. So in either at the very end of 1910 or beginning of 1911, there was a reverend, local reverend called Shipp, S-H-I-P-P. He died suddenly, and his widow had nowhere to live, and forgotten who it was, said, hey, y'all come and stay here in this house. So she came here. Well, I discovered today that she had a daughter at the time, and the daughter would have been round about 17 years old, probably a touch younger, maybe just going on 17. The daughter's name is Lillian. And so Lillian Shipp in later years became Lillian Saunders, and became basically, as somebody put it, the godmother of the birth of Stephen Foster Park and the memorial to Stephen Foster and the Folk Festival, and from 1955 onwards, it was all down to her kicking it off and going to the legislators and making it all happen.
What was her relationship to this house?
She was the daughter of the lady, the widow, who was Mrs. Shipp, who was told, just go and stay in this house. So I know for a fact that Lillian, later Saunders, and her mum lived in this house in 1911. And the story I read from the other book that was written about the house, about the town, I think it's a lovely story. Mrs. Shipp, the widow, was a piano player. So she had gone and played, and the local, the Methodist church guy said, well, come on down and play, the Baptist church said, come down and play us some piano music. So she went down there, special set up, and played, and hardly anybody turned up. So the minister got up there and raised hell about his people weren't there. So he lambasted them and said, may you all burn in hell. Well, from what the record I read about, it says within a week the town burned down. I think that was February 1911. So a cool story. Now I can relate that. I know for a fact now Lillian was her daughter, because this other thing I just read today verifies all of that. And sure enough, in this story written by the current librarian, Tracy Woodard, in it, which I can show you, I've got the page open in the kitchen, it says, oh, and Lillian's mother was also a piano player. Well, I knew that from this other description. So, kind of cool story. Again, I don't know how long they lived or stayed in the house. Perkins came to either own or live in the house. And there was a Pa Perkins, and I've read about him in the books. And then Miss Evelyn, who lives across the road here now, and her husband, she talked to me one day, fairly recently, and was a witness as a small girl to be frightened of Pa Perkins because he would reverse his big old 50s car out the side drive here into US 41 without stopping.
Oh, gosh.
Pa Perkins didn't
When you
care.
heard that engine, you ran. So I got it from her firsthand. I thought, wow, you just confirmed the story I've already read about in other books. So that was pretty cool. And then lived in the house until all the way up to 1994. So that I do know, and she's the lady who did all the extensions to the back of the house. And also, even at the front of the house, you see the funky hedge here that's at a funny angle?
Right.
I always wondered, what's the hedge at a funny angle? I found out the truth. There wasn't a porch here. So back in the day, Elizabeth Griffin, this was in the late 50s, she had a car, and there's little tiny steps, original brick steps outside that front door. So she would drive in, there was a circular driveway out here. There was no picket fence, there was a circular driveway. She'd come in there, and there was a piece of hedge over this side as well. So there were two little hedges like this. She'd drive in, and then park right against the steps, so she'd just get out the car, go up the steps, and come in the house. So that's why that hedge over there survived. So I'm going, now I know the story of the hedge.
So we're gonna take the PSP7, which is just a simple device. It's scanning through the radio stations. I removed the antenna both externally and internally, so it's really just creating a bunch of white noise. There are really only about 2 radio stations that'll even bleed through on here. I think it's 10, you'll see it on here, 101.3 and 98.3 or something like that. The rest of it's going through white noise, and you'll pick up these background noises, voices, and then I take them, I drop them into a video editor. I slow them down, and they're consistently the same. I slow down the sounds that we hear between 90 and 60%, and then elevate it, and then sometimes remove some of the noise, and you can.
Let me suggest.
So, who's ever over there, if you could just stay there until we can talk to whoever's over here. Stay, please. Stay over there. How many spirits are with us in this house right now? Whatever spirit's making this making the lights like here, you didn't come from the general store, did you? Do you all approve of what Mr. Bruce has done here in the house? How many spirits are with us right now? That's a lot of spirits. Mrs. Ship, are you here? That's a John. Mr. Bishop, are you hanging around here still? Are any of the Perkins here? Mr. Perkins? The person that's down here that's making the meter plate, can you tell me your name, please? That spirit that's down on the floor right in front of Pat, what is your name, please? Oh, did you hear that? Yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah. What's your name? The person that's in the closet. What's your name back here? You hear that? There's a voice. Yeah, that was buried right in there. This is Perkins. You need to come straight in. This spirit that's following me around, did you identify yourself, or are you just gonna show up on the meter and not identify yourself? You can just say your name once. Oh, that was it right there. Yeah. Huh? What was that? Oh. I don't know, but it's relentless.
Yeah, that's usually not good.
Controlling every single room.
Following you around.
Who's in this closet? Anybody? I like that voice. Okay, man. Anybody in this room? Oh, yeah. Hey, what's your name? Whoever you are that's in here. Who? How many spirits are up in this 12 space? Oh, it said 30. There's 30 spirits? It's a small room for 30 spirits. Alright. Who is that across the street? Who's in this closet? That's not.
The mystery of this stuff stays a mystery.
What? Yep. Oh, what was that? What did you say?
Was it Patika again?
It's the gentleman's name right here. Camera right now. Who owns this house? My dark house.